Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North, fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
To the good vibes only Mariners, baby.
It's been a couple of weeks since we talked. Mariners had some vacations and some sicknesses, so
Yeah.
it's been just over 2 weeks since we talked about them. A lot to cover in this episode, but before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about us. If you're looking for a guy whose voice might sound deeper and manlier, and you can thank John Penis Crawford's Friday walk-off for that, because he is the reason that I currently still do not have a voice 5 days later. If you're looking for a guy like that, you're looking for a guy like me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on X at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. And if you're looking for a guy that was not at the JP walk off, but was celebrating just as hard, I'm sure,
Yes.
and that is Kane.
My friends weren't expecting it. I'll say that much. Yeah, I'm Kane. You can find me over on Twitter at Kane2406, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Pause. Do it, freaking do it.
Before we jump into all the craziness that has happened, if you look at the last 2 weeks, the Mariners played 14 games in 14 days.
Yep.
So the first week after we talked about the Astro series, the Mariners were 3-4. The following week, they were 4-3. And so you look at it as a 500 week. You look at the series against the Brewers, very solid team fighting for the best record in baseball right now. And then a little bit of a letdown series down in Los Angeles of Anaheim with the Angels.
As it always is.
And then you turn that into a series against the Sacramento A's in Sacramento. Started off strong, kind of fizzled, but get back home. We'll talk about what transpired over that time, but take 3 out of 4 against the Rangers, who going into that series, you're tied for the last wild card spot. As we sit here today, the Mariners are sitting in the second wild card spot. They are 2.5 games back of the top wild card spot and the division entering today's game. If they're able to win against the White Sox tonight, they'll be 2 games back of both. They got a half game lead in the wild card. If they win tonight, then they have a full game lead. So hovering at 53.5%, round that up to 54. But
They did some things, though.
they did a couple of things. So early in our absence, they strike probably the first major deal of the free agent cycle, or of the
Mhm.
trade hot stove cycle, and swing a trade for one of the top first base options out there, and it's Josh Naylor. You end up getting Josh Naylor for Brandon Garcia, who had just made his debut and got sent back down as a reliever, and then Juan Burgos, who had also seen some time.
Ashton Izzy. That's who won the Naylor deal. Is Ashton Izzy and Brandon Garcia.
Oh,
Juan
was Burgos part
Burgos,
of the other one?
Hunter Granton, and Tyler
So
Locklear were part of the other one.
got it. So with Brandon Garcia, you got a
Where's
guy
Michael?
that
You know.
profiled high, got converted to a reliever. I think with the Diamondbacks ends up going back, at least testing him to be a starter again,
Mm.
and was probably the jewel of that trade. But with Naylor, you get a guy that has a good glove at first base. He's more athletic than people give him credit for. High contact guy, sneaky good power, and apparently this year a demon on the base pass. Since the
Yeah,
11 games since being acquired from the
it's got
Diamondbacks,
eight,
Josh Naylor has
I believe. Eight.
7.
Ah,
So
ah.
Josh Naylor, if you were to say that he was close to making the 2020 club and he was closer on steals than home runs, anyone would call you a lunatic. But he has been
Yeah.
a menace for the
Juice,
Mariners.
dude. He brought a certain juice to this team that we all needed. Every day at bats is what this team needed for the entire lineup, how it is, right? You don't have to platoon anymore at first base.
You
It's
don't
just
you're
a
not
day
platooning
off.
you're not platooning anywhere right now.
And to its credit, it's worked.
Well, and Naylor has been
Really
has
good
been
against lefties
his
too.
his his left on left at bats were better than the all Mariners combined at first base. The WRC plus for Naylor is higher than all the Mariners combined left on left at first or
Yeah,
versus left-handed pitchers from the first base position.
it was an
Uh,
absolute piece you needed to add to this team, and for nothing. I
Everyone else
mean,
sucks.
Ashton Izzy and Brandon Garcia. Brandon Garcia was going to be a tail low leverage reliever for a few years because you have Gabe Spire and he's your high leverage lefty,
Okay.
and you also have Caleb Ferguson for the year.
Well, just hold your horses. You're getting ahead of yourself. Brandon
Sure.
Garcia, I think, could have been a higher leverage receiver or reliever for this team. When you look at Gabe Spire, he has had good spurts, good stretches, but you've got the young guy that can be that big lefty. He's got the stuff to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he and Logan Evans were both starters together and both got transitioned to the bullpen. And Logan did not do good as a reliever. Stuff didn't play up, but Brandon
Brandon did.
Garcia's did. So,
Yeah.
but the other thing with Izzy's a guy who is in um, single A ball. He's sitting there with about a 5 ERA. He's got plus stuff, but he hasn't really been able to put it together yet. So when you look at this, I believe that at the time that Brandon Garcia was sitting at 13. I think Izzy was at 16 in the
16.
Mariners prospect rankings.
Yep.
To get that for a rental at first base, who I think since coming on this team has shown how pivotal it can be to have an everyday first baseman. And with the trade that you made later in the deadline, you lost that person in house. Go and get Naylor, who is still a very strong contact guy, still has power, and
Average guy.
big average guy, and plays a damn good first base.
Yeah. I He's
He's an extension
everything.
candidate or a re-sign candidate for
Also,
this team.
that's 12 on the year.
Uh, before the Mariners traded for the sex player, Cain was Debbie Downer all day.
I
It
was.
was a week later. This was Wednesday before the deadline. He was whining and pissing and moaning. They're not going to do anything. This is bull. I only got Josh Naylor. And then the market heated up. The Mariners, by
Did it
all
again.
indications, were pretty close to getting Johan Duran.
Yeah.
Very close. Uh, didn't end up going their way. And from some of the reports that I read, I think the Mariners could have made a stronger, I think probably did make a stronger offer to the Twins, but the prospects the Twins ended up getting from the Phillies were closer, especially the pitcher, were closer to the big leagues than the Mariners prospects. The Mariners did not have a
Yes.
starter that I think would have been sufficient to go in that deal that was
Yeah.
close enough to the bigs.
Because
The Mariners,
They got Mick Abel for him, who's seen big. He's been in the bigs, I think, for 3 starts this year for the Phillies. So it makes sense.
yeah.
It's tough. And then Griffin Jacks went for Taj Bradley to the Rays. Another MLB starter.
Well, and
So
that was at the very end of
tail
the.
end, yeah. But
But Mariners made a quick pivot and they go and get lefty Caleb Ferguson for Jeter Martinez, a guy that's kind of toil around in low A that had a little bit more prospect shine last year, hasn't really improved on a lot of stuff. So going and getting a lefty rental who's not going to be the biggest whiff guy. That's not his game. The
looked pretty
averages
good so
against him
far.
are so low and
He
his
looks
hard hit rate is astronomically low. People can't square him up.
it's it's real fun. I'll tell you that, to have another lefty in this bullpen that they desperately needed, and he looks really good.
When that trade was announced, you were still
I
lamenting
was
about the Johan Duran deal not going down. And I said, no, they went and made another trade. You can't be mad anymore. And you were not happy about
I
Caleb
was
Burkeson
not
at the time.
was not. And I was in the mindset of great, yeah, cool, you got a bat, uh or you got one bat, you got an arm, but you still need another bat. And oh boy,
Yeah, little Wednesday late night action.
during
Uh,
the eighth inning of the game,
Gino Suarez coming home for Tyler Locklear, Juan Burgos.
and Hunter Cranton.
I never even had heard of Hunter Cranton. I've looked at a lot of prospect
He
rankings over the
he
years.
apparently has been on the IL all year long due to a concussion or something. And as soon as he got traded, he landed back on the IL. So he's been
Yeah,
an IL guy.
I do think that I've already seen a clip since the trade. Tyler Locklear did go Yahtzee for the Diamondbacks, and Tyler Locklear was absolutely tearing up AAA. There wasn't a spot there for him anymore, and I think we had talked about this earlier in the year. It was baffling that Tyler Locklear was not up on this team in lieu of Donovan Solano. I do not know how Donovan Solano was still on this team.
I don't
Uh,
either.
I think he's gotten one at bat since the Naylor trade. He doesn't offer you anything right now.
Yeah.
I think that you do have Luke Rayleigh is heading out for his rehab assignment this over the weekend. Victor
Mhm.
Robles is still on track for a September return. He might be a hair above schedule. He could be
Mhm.
starting his rehab stint as early as next week, but that one's going to be extended.
It's gonna be
You've
like
got
40 or 50 plate appearances,
You've
is what
got
was said.
you've got Bryce Miller, who looked phenomenal in his rehab start, but Hollander
Yeah.
said he's going to get at least two more. And you got Ryan Bliss, that's also ahead of schedule, who you thought was going to be lost for the season. So you have a lot of intriguing pieces, and whoever's back first, whether that's Luke, whether that's Robles, you can wave goodbye to Donovan Solano. Bye,
And
Donnie
then
Barrels.
and then
Bye.
unfortunately, if Mastro's got one more option, he's going down. If not, I think Dylan Moore's gone.
I think that Dylan Moore outlasts Mastroboni because he has uh
Sure.
more of a power upside. He's got a better glove around the field at more positions than Mastroboni,
Sure.
and he can swipe bases. He has two stolen bases in the last 7 days. He's
Sure.
second on the team in that span behind Josh Naylor with four.
Yeah.
Speed demon Josh Naylor. But you bring Gino Suarez home, right?
Yes. I do
We did not
Goldie's.
get the full Josh Naylor experience without Gino. When Gino got back, Josh Naylor got happier. And the first game
Haha.
back, they annihilate. It's 6-0. They win 6-0 against the Rangers, and they
Yeah.
followed up with Friday with a very close game. They're slogging through, and Dom Canzone leads off the ninth with a left on left single. And what Dom Canzone has been able to do left on left has been a revelation from what we've seen in the past.
He's a good baseball player now.
Over the last calendar week, Dom Canzone has the second best average on this team,
Yeah,
or third. He's up there.
he's really killing it, dude. Like these are it's not just like swing and hope he makes contact. This is a legit different ball player we're seeing, but continue, please.
And then JP Crawford comes up, and the Mariners that whole game had four balls that were on the track.
Gino had two, I believe.
I think Naylor had one as well. And JP Crawford, you see it immediately. Um, as soon as it struck, I was in right field. Like if you pause when they're paying to the crowd, you could see my daughter, you could see me. It's only for a split second, but I could see us there. And we're going absolutely bonkers. Lost my voice. There were JP chants randomly happening because there's also a fireworks show that night, even though we already got a fireworks show from JP to send
Yeah.
everyone home happy. But as we're walking out 45 minutes after the game, there are JP chants erupting randomly while walking out of the stadium.
I mean, this is the JP you need. This is JP you want. The swagger, the just the aura that he emits when like the first walk off of his career, I believe, or walk off home run. Walk off home run. No, he's had other walk off home runs before. I don't think so.
He had a walk-off grand slam.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Him and
But
Shed went back-to-back days with walk-off homers.
oh yeah.
Get out of
Well,
town, dude. Put
so
some respect
with
on Shed Long Jr. and
he
JP.
he still talks about that one. I love it. But JP doing that, the vibes are back, dude. The vibes are so high in this locker
Oh,
room.
watching the replay, Gino Suarez climbed that fence so fast and was just jumping with jubilation, and just
Yeah.
it's
Having
a
him
guy
back,
that you
dude.
needed on this team.
Yeah.
When the Mariners completed these trades outside of one game, the Mariners lineup has one of the hottest hitters in the league right now, Randy Rosarena batting leadoff. You've got Cal batting two, who is like the one Mariner right now that has not been hot at any
At
given
all.
stretch outside after the All-Star break. Then you
Yep.
go Julio, who's been heating up for a while now, and we're getting close to a boil with Julio.
Yeah.
You've
It's been
got
fun.
you've got Naylor batting four. You've got Gino batting five. You have Polanco batting six.
Yes. Dom
Dom
Canzone.
Canzone batting seven, JP in the 8 hole, and Cole Young, who hit a ball that StatCast originally thought was 470 feet, but oh, sorry, it was only 456. And he had a short side triple in that same game on Thursday against the Rangers.
Yeah.
Cole Young is heating up. It The lineup is scary, and they talked about it in
It's
the
so
broadcast.
deep. It's so deep.
There are so many big heads that have said, with the Mariners rotation getting healthier, their bullpen has done enough, especially with the big arms at the back end of the bullpen.
Mhm.
And when you look at how this lineup sits, your 7, 8, 9 at one point is your leadoff
Oh,
hitter. Cole Young is, I would say, exceeding expectations after his call up.
yeah.
And then you've got Dom Canzone, who's
I
batting damn near 300 on the year with power. Like,
like
there are not big holes, and there's only going to become less. Your bench is going to get deeper once you hit September. Like,
yeah, if you have Ryan
legitimately,
Bliss and Victor Robles on your bench, that's a good thing to have at
Demo's
that
still in
point.
there. You probably throw in Samad Taylor too. Samad Taylor or Leo Rivas. Leo Rivas is the leading hitter in the PCL right now, and Samad
Yeah.
Taylor is a 2020 guy.
And Leo Rivas also led the team in average for about a month and a half outside of Cal.
I think it's in within the last month that Leo Rivas has the best batting average in the whole PCL.
Yeah, it's been like they have talent oozing out of their veins at almost every level right now, and it's really scary.
And if you've got Harry Ford who's still hitting it up. But the big thing that came out of the whole trade deadline is the Mariners did not give up MLB ready starters in Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock.
Mhm.
They did not give up a top 100 prospect. They did not give up anyone within their top 10. You some Arizona said that Tyler Locklear was their 10th best prospect. Not the case if you're looking at the Mariners side of it.
Yeah.
He
So
was
like
11 for me. And I think MLB had him at 11 because there
it,
was no way that Tyler Locklear was one in their top 10 anymore.
because they had well, if he's at 9, right, which they had him during the trade was at 9 in the Mariners system. He has 8 dudes in front of him that are top 100 prospects. He's a 5 or a 4 on any other team, especially with the play that
Oh, and
he's
he's
been
been playing
exerting.
spectacular. But for the Mariners to go and get one of the, let's call it, I'm going to say top two, but let's for argument's sake say top three available first baseman to
Mhm.
get the best power hitter available at a position of need. No player with 37 home runs at that point in the season has ever been traded before in season.
And it's a good omen because he loves Seattle.
So you go ahead and get those two guys who are probably at least in the realm of hitters. We're
Mhm.
both in the top five for your 11th, 13th, 16th, sprinkle in some more prospects, and to also going and getting a Caleb Ferguson who
Yeah.
is slot perfectly well into this team
Mhm.
for a guy that best case is 5 years down the road and who knows what the results are going to be. It was an absolute masterclass of how to navigate the deadline
Mhm. Jerry did it
and,
again.
and
He
keep
did it again.
yourself in contention for that next wave to still come up together.
Because, like, so here's my question now, right? Like, Randy's hit now. Like, you're seeing the Randy Arozarena that, like, was in the World Series. This is the Randy we're getting now. And then you bring back the the life of the locker room in Gino. And I just think the pulse now, Josh Naylor. Like, this opens my mind. Just does ownership open the checkbooks this year? Because like Randy's deserving of a contract.
Well, you still have Brandy
Naylor,
next year.
well, right, but extension wise is right.
I
Like,
think that I think that you extend him. I think that Gino will still get a lot of play on the open market. Third base
mhm,
does not have as many top tier guys as it used to have,
sure,
but when you also look at this, I think he's more valuable to the Mariners than almost any other team. I think
yeah,
that with Ben Williamson and his lack of power. We
yeah,
saw him start to sprinkle in a few more doubles, but he's got a decent average, and the glove is astounding. I
astounding.
think that you could see him next year being that Dylan Moore type on being your infield only utility guy because he played
Hmm.
shortstop in college. I guarantee if you play third, you could play second. And I think that he could play first if needed. Right.
Hmm.
So you have a guy that can fill in at multiple positions. Outside of that, your next wave of people that you think will be third basemen are a couple of years out. I
Like
think that,
Luis Seispel.
well, I think that you could very well see some iteration in the future with Cole Young, Michael Arroyo, and Cole Emerson. I thought that Emerson would probably be your guy that could stick at short,
Hmm.
right? Arroyo's been moved to second. I think you could put Cole Young at third. I think you could probably put Arroyo at third.
Hmm.
Higher levels, higher trajectory. And then eventually you might be looking at Fenlon Celestin at shortstop because he's the purest fielder of the bunch with all guys that started out as shortstops before entering the Mariners system, right?
Yeah,
So going in, bringing Gino back, but I think that Josh Naylor is key. And I think you get your best Josh Naylor with Gino. They seem to be best friends. I mean, I feel like Gino is best friends with a lot of people, but it
yes,
seems like he brings the absolute best out of Josh Naylor.
I agree, and I think these are just two dudes that you need to have. I throw 3 year contracts at him.
Yes, 100%. I think Gino maybe a two just because he's a little bit older.
I don't know if you throw a three at Josh, throw a three at Gino. It gets you for kind of where you want your infield to be at that point in time anyway.
Yep. I I'm
And
not gonna
it
be
gives
mad
you
about it. And the
it
other
also
thing is,
gives
I
you
think Josh
the
Naylor is severely underrated. Like he isn't
yeah.
seen as that shine. He's kind of like a good piece, but not the piece type of guy. And I think that when you look at how this team's constructed, when you have Cal, Julio, Randy, potentially Gino, I think we're gonna see Cole get better. We're seeing what we're seeing out of Dom Canzone. Naylor's a perfect piece to this
Mhm.
team. And I think that he could be a perfect piece to this team next year.
I agree. And this is what happens like when you go trade for good players. It's what happens. Like the team rallies around that, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I liked Randy last year and kind of Justin Turner. I having the knowledge and stuff out of Justin Turner, like, and how much fun he had with this team. That's cool and all. But him being your second big bat at the deadline, like he said in free agency, I didn't want to be their biggest thing in free agency. Like, it just
The
is what it
biggest was
is.
Polanco,
And
but
that's been fun this year, hasn't it?
it's been a roller coaster ride, if anything. But when you look after the deadline, a lot of the major talking heads, touched on earlier, said that Seattle is the scariest team as they're currently constructed with getting healthier
I agree
in
with
the
that.
American League because right
Big
before the break,
Yankee.
you saw them take what the Mariners have been able to do against top tier starters all year has been incredible. You've beaten Tariq Skubal twice. You beat Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
You've beaten Garrett Crochet. You've beaten Max Fried. You've beaten Jacob DeGrom. Those are games that you don't expect the Mariners to typically win. But their starters have come around more. Brian Wu has been amazing. You've had Luis Castillo return to form. You're seeing those glimpses again more regularly with George Kirby, with Logan Gilbert. And if Bryce is back to form and actually feeling healthy again, because you knew that he was gutting it out at the beginning of the year and he paid the price for it. And having Logan Evans as that other starter, he's
Not
looked solid
bad.
too.
It's not bad. I mean, you got the win on Sunday, yeah.
Like there are people out there saying the Mariners have the best chance to make it to the World Series in the American League and have Ichiro throw out a first pitch of a game in the year that he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Because
Yeah.
also out Ichiro got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a fun couple of weeks.
For the lack of moves that were happening and the staleness, like you said, it was a little bit tougher to be a Mariners fan until Wednesday night. Come
How
when
how how much do you think other teams are kicking themselves in the pants now? Because like we got Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez for nothing.
it's not nothing because when you look at this, if you really wanted to look at a Mariners player that could eventually be a starter that was closest to the bigs, it was Brandon Garcia, right? Tyler Locklear is an MLB ready first baseman right now. So
Mm-hmm.
in those two deals, yes, you got two rentals, but you also gave the Diamondbacks two MLB ready players. One to fill the hole of Josh Naylor, who they did not have an answer for because they got Josh Naylor in the offseason. And
Mm-hmm.
Gino Suarez being an impending free agent, you lose Merrill Kelly, they trade him off. So you get a Brandon Garcia who can step in. I think that those are very solid prospects, but for where the Mariners are at in their progression, having some affinity for hating Tyler Locklear and not letting him
Yeah.
play at the major league level and really not starting opportunities. So the ceiling is kind of capped with Brandon Garcia. They both go to a better situation for themselves. And
Mhm.
it sets the Mariners up to make that push this year. I think that you make the trade for Gino, everyone's ecstatic. First game after, the Mariners go and take care of business against the Rangers. Friday night, you get the walk-off winner. Saturday, Mariners had opportunities to win that game. They shouldn't have won the game. They didn't win the game. Then you turn around to Sunday and have another good performance by the Mariners. When you look at week 1 versus week 2, you felt really bad about 3 and 4. You underwhelmed, disappointed. You felt like the Mariners and this team were set up in the best position to really hit the ground running after that 4-game set
Mhm.
against the Rangers. You have the Yankees in free fall right now. Boston's playing great baseball. You've got the Tigers that aren't looking as much of
Sharp.
world beaters as they have been for majority of this season. You've got Toronto that's still looking good, but the Mariners still have a few games against the Angels, a few games against the A's, still against the Astros. They're done with
They
the Rangers. They
they
have the Rockies.
also
They have the Royals.
but they also go on the road to play Mets and Phillies back to back. That's gonna be that's gonna be a fun stretch.
It is not actually, but thanks for saying it. But think of a better roll into, let's call Thursday part of the weekend. Ichiro gets inducted the week before, I believe.
No, I believe he gets deducted on deadline week.
No, he's
It
already
was the
been.
week. It was the weekend. It was during the weekend.
So let's call it a full week. The Mariners have got there. You have Josh Naylor as your first baseman. Ichiro gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. You bring Gino back, and you have one of the best series against a team that you needed to have a good series against. The
They didn't
Rangers have
play.
not played the Mariners well,
No, they've
but
only beat him twice.
but the Mariners absolutely went crazy. I think they beat them 3 times, but I digress. The Mariners went and took care of business. And coming out of that weekend, I don't think that anyone has been as excited about this Mariners squad, except for they clinched early in the year where Cal hit the drought buster, right? But the season before, when they were making that push on the very last weekend, and Mitch Haniger is putting the team on the back, though,
Hmm?
um, you started to see the city get invigorated. I went to a game Monday of that week, and you kind of, it was pretty barren, but you kind of got vibes. Went back Wednesday. Mariners sweep the A's to put themselves in contention for a playoff spot. That place was absolutely bonkers on a Wednesday. You're starting to see that earlier in the season. You saw it the following year when they ended up going to the playoffs. Saw it at points of time last year. You haven't really seen it this year. The house was rocking. And one thing that was great about the game on Friday was there. Some doofus tried to start the wave like 75 times and it did not take. So we are changing as a society and it's all for the Mariners and I love it. And poo poo on the wave.
Yeah, I like that. All right, do it. Should we jump into picks click now?
Oh yeah. So last picks to click, it was kind of over a 2 week span. You had JP and Luis Castillo. I had George Kirby and Randy Arozarena. Randy Arozarena had probably a more consistent 2 weeks because that first week JP wasn't doing anything, was a world beater against the Rangers, blasting homers, go ahead, and game ending
Mhm.
homers. And then you had George Kirby, who's put together some good starts, but Luis Castillo was probably a little bit more consistent. Let's call it a wash because we were on a 2 week hiatus. So we've already had one game this week. We're in the middle of another one right now. Try your best to exclude and what you already know and
Yeah.
go ahead and give me your picks to click.
Okay, you want
We'll
hitter or
start with
pitcher
hitter.
first? Okay, hitter. So I had this predetermined to yesterday's game. I'm going with one of the new guys, Josh Naylor. He's just during the Texas series, he had a great series. I believe he was on base the majority of the time and also bags galore. He steals a lot of bags. I love it. Give me Josh Naylor. The power's coming back. The lefty on lefty is deadly. Give me my everyday first baseman, coach, who you want for your pick to click this week.
Um, can I take a pick to click with a caveat on something that I want him to change?
Depends.
All right, I pick
But it's also your name on the show, so
I pick Julio Rodriguez, and I want him to stop being a doofus on the base paths.
that's fair. Dude,
But
I thought 100% you'd go Gino there.
no, I'm gonna save Gino for when I really need Gino. But
Yeah.
you're starting to see Julio heat up. The power's
Yes.
coming. Um, Over the weekend, he joined the 2020 club again. To join the 2020 club, it was his 100th career homer. He is the first player in MLB history to start his career with 4 consecutive 20 and 20 seasons. That's the list. It's Julio Rodriguez. He's the only one that's ever done it.
Mhm.
That is insane in the membrane. He's had
Julio's
100
awesome.
homers through 4 years, pace of 25 a year, and we still got time. And Julio typically heats up at tail end of July into August. August is a Julio month. We
Hmm.
saw Julio have that damn near 500 month where he was hitting the ball hard everywhere. You're seeing him so consistently hit the ball hard. He's hitting it with more loft. The only detraction I see with Julio right now is his boneheadery on the base pass. If
It's
he can
not been
clean that
very
up,
good.
if he can clean that up slightly, the defense is still playing great. He made a play in the Castillo start over the weekend. I think it was Saturday, might have been Friday, where he just tracked the ball down and absolutely he crashes into the wall while making
Hmm.
it. And not very many center fielders are making that play and coming away healthy.
Right.
Julio Rodriguez, when I go on the Julio train, the Mariners typically win. So let's hop back on.
Ah, dude, just give me. Oh, oh, damn.
Ho 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 is right.
Sorry.
Who do you
I
have as your pitcher pick to play?
give me Logan Gilbert this week. Walter is gonna make an appearance, and I believe it's tomorrow, and he's gonna shove against his White Sox team. Coach Red, who do you want for your pick to click?
I'm gonna take Luis Castillo. I'm gonna
Such a
steer clear of
solid pick.
blue because we already know what he did, and he's only getting 1 star on the week, so that feels like cheating.
Mhm.
Um, you got a team in the Tampa Bay Rays who are always pesky. At one point, they were at the top of the division. They find themselves on the outside looking in. They were right in the middle of the wild card race, and then kind of became soft sellers a little bit
And
at the
kind of
deadline.
bought, sold and bought basically
It was
because they got
odd.
Jax. So
It wasn't as weird as the Angels. We'll talk about them in a minute. But
yeah,
um, I think that Luis Castillo, you need a good Luis Castillo start
one
against
hundred
a
percent,
solid
dude,
team. The
100%.
Mariners, the Mariners, I know we'll talk about it next week, but yesterday took care of business. They're seemingly in the middle of doing the same tonight. The Mariners have done a good job at winning against good teams for the most part. The Mariners have the best record, I think, with against teams above 500. I think it is.
Mhm.
So you need them to take care of business against tough competition. And the Rays have always played the Mariners pretty tough. You haven't seen them yet this year, so you see them at home. It's Ichiro weekend. You're gonna have that place sold out 3 days in a row.
That place is gonna be bumping this
Yeah,
weekend.
it's Ichiro's number retirement. And I don't think we talked about this. I'm so glad that the Mariners finally righted one of their big wrongs and are also going to be retiring Randy Johnson's 51 next year. Having both he and Ichiro 51 up in the rafter, I think is awesome. It was tough because Ichiro obviously came in the league when Randy is still in the league. The number's not retired. And I think that Randy felt slighted because the previous ownership group did not really reach out to him after his retirement. It's part of the reason why he's not in the hall with the Mariners cap on, right? Having Randy Johnson back in the fold, having Jay Beener on the calls. Like you've got Dan Wilson in the dugout, you've got Edgar Martinez. You're
Hold
trying
on,
to
hold
live
on,
off
hold on,
some of
hold
those
on.
vibes. But
Dan Wilson has actually been calling great games recently. I will tip my cap to him.
well, his bullpen usage has been a lot better. There's a little bit of head scratcher in that extra innings game, but I digress. But the Mariners are in this spot right now where the world's ahead of them. Like
Mhm. The
they've
world's their oyster, as one would say.
and they're getting healthier. Like we've talked about. You've got
Yeah.
a legit frontline starter coming back. You have Luke Rayleigh, who has been a very good glue guy and was a big piece to early this year
Mhm.
and down the stretch last year. When you needed him, Luke Rayleigh was showing up, right?
Yes.
Robles, the igniter from last year, could be back. And Ryan Bliss, who is a maniac on the base pass and with him
Starting
being
to find
a
his swing too.
slighter frame than Cole Young. Cole Young's been making some awesome plays around the infield, but Ryan Bliss is able to get to a handful more balls, even though Cole Young has the frame and a little bit better arm. Ryan Bliss can make some plays that Cole Young cannot make.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't think a lot of players on this team can make it outside of Ryan Bliss. I don't know if Demo can make that play. Behind second, I've seen Ryan Bliss track down some wild balls and throw dudes out.
Yeah, it's fun time and celebration. You got Ichiro's number retirement this week. You've you've got, let's call it what it is, a cupcake series against the White Sox, who the Mariners have played very well against the last 2 years. I think combined they have like two losses in the last 2 years
So these are
against
the
them.
series you have to win.
You
You
have to do
have to
it.
win
You got to take advantage of this right now, roll it, and you know, as we said, after this game, the Mariners could be 2 games back of the wild card, 2 games back of the division,
because every team that's needed to lose today has lost.
and the Astros, even though they made a slurry of moves, bringing back Carlos Correa to play third base.
For 7 more years.
Woo.
Seven
Uh,
more years of that contract.
they got Jesus Sanchez to join the team.
They didn't see. I was texting coach last week or during deadline, right? And when they were heavily in on Dylan Cease, I was like, I don't care at this point. We got the prospects. Go take him. Go grab him from them because
Then the
at this
Padres
point,
became big buyers.
big buyers, yeah. But at any pitcher or player that they were reported to, I just wanted the Mariners to sweep in and just be petty, because
Yeah,
they
but they
could
did the
they could
smart
afford
thing.
it.
They got the
Yeah,
smart thing. They got Gino back. And while we're talking about trades, so the Angels were reportedly in sell mode. They won a couple games, got into buy mode, and picked up
well they
two mid relievers.
I think they
At
either
best case,
I think
it,
they swept Texas or
yeah,
won the series against them, put them in the
sure,
hunt again.
sure. They go and get two relievers and do nothing else, and then they have lost ground ever since.
Yeah, they got Luis Ortiz, I believe, and Andrew Chafin. And that's it. Artie Moreno said, that's my
Yeah,
buy.
that's all we need. It was weird. So, but the Mariners arguably had one of the top deadlines. I think you could say that the Padres were right there with going getting Mason Miller, with going getting Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah, they
Like
they had a good deadline too.
they said, we don't need no youngsters. We'll just.
Phillies had a good deadline. Mets had a good deadline.
I think the Mariners, when it, you would
They
have
they get
loved to
Nay.
see them pick up another reliever, especially a higher leverage guy, uh, because over the Thursday day of the trade deadline, Trent
Trent
Thornton
Thornton.
tears his Achilles and is lost for the season. You
And this is
still have,
coming off like 15 innings of really good work out of him. And no matter how much I dislike Trent Thornton, I never wish that on him. Because hey, if you're helping the Mariners win, you're all right in my book. But when you're bad, you're really bad. But he was being really good,
and
so
the Mariners will have the opportunity because once you get later in the year, you'll see the waiver trades pick up. So if someone gets wavered, it's usually their team's not going to make the playoffs. They're a veteran. They're probably in the last year of their deal, and the team's gonna just let them try and go be on a team that can have success. I believe if you get someone on waivers, they're not eligible for the postseason. But I think the Mariners could make a play for a reliever type to help get them there, and
mhm.
then you'll see the likes of some of the Mariners starters transition to playoff baseball mode where you'd love to get 6 or 7 innings, but if you have a starter that gets in trouble, you're going to that bullpen early and you've got a short leash. So you're probably going to see Bryce Miller coming out of the bullpen. You're probably going to see George Kirby or Logan Gilbert coming out of the bullpen, or even Luis Castillo. I think the only guy that you are set and forget it right now that would start a playoff game is Brian
Brian
Wu,
Wu. Yeah.
who's going to give
Yeah.
you six, baby. He
Most likely in that
sets
atmosphere, 7 or 8. I'm
sets the
giving him.
Mariners record for most consecutive starts to start a season going 6 or more innings, sitting at 22. I think Felix has the record for most within a season at 27. And I mean, whoa, whoa, why stop the train while it's on the tracks? Let that thing roll, baby.
Dude, even when he gives up runs, his pitch count's still in such good shape. He's so efficient.
He's so efficient, and we love him.
That's true. We do love him.
And we
Okay.
would love it if you would help our follower account over on social media. You can find me, your boy, Coach Red, on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the Real _ Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also, find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
Find me over on Twitter, Kane2406, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624. Also follow this show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Follows. Do it, freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.